Hey guys, Apple Frog here. Last video I was pretty tired. I missed a lot of points and I was like kind of just rumbling. Oh, whatever. I don't think it's that important. uh, Hopefully today I don't talk too long. I'm just gonna finish this series really quick. So today I'm gonna talk about some weapons that are viable. Could be the next, Tryhard. So first of all, I'm pretty sure everybody thinks this is the obvious choice, but the onikiri&ubadachi. First of all, if you hollow infuse the weapon, you can have like 440 AR. That's pretty ridiculous. I mean, okay, Chaos Blade with 60 dex is 440 AR. I think 40-40 you're fine. Washing pose also 440 AR. So just one-handing onikiri&ubadachi 440 AR running R1 is pretty good. Running L1, I don't think it's good, but if you landed, it could be pretty good, but overall it looks pretty bad. So onikiri&ubadachi basically, katana. Well, one bad thing is that it lacks the so for you guys don't know, if you block and do a circle, you will do a stable circle rather than if you don't block, you will kind of tilt, your body will tilt. So if you want to do like a precise fast trick with the running R1s, you need a block, but onikiri&ubadachi kind of lacks that. But you can use it with a shield, especially with the weapon art shield. Then you'll lose the. I mean, running L1 itself it's pretty bad, so I don't recommend using running L1. You can and yeah, you just block with the shield and do the running R1 with one hand, and that still does pretty good damage. L1 combo and rolling L1s are pretty strong. The damage output is pretty impressive if you land it, and also it has a very wonky hitbox. So, like the hitbox is pretty big. So if they're around, they could get hit. And the weapon art, first of all, the weapon art is unparryable attacks, and if you successfully land the attack, it will do a devastating damage. It's not something you can ignore. And there's some attacks. I mean, the hyper armor on the weapon art is pretty ridiculous. There are a few weapons that can break the weapon art hyper armor, but most of the weapon can't break, so you can just try to trade with it, and eventually if you land the trade, you'll do way more damage. I think and another downside is it lacks parry, but overall it's same with the katana, and it has the advantage of the weapon art. It's in some ways it could be better than katana, but so far the fights that I had with onikiri&ubadachi, I think katana comes like has a better result, but I don't know. It has a potential. I think we just need to learn how to use it. The second is the offhand. So the second choice is like the offhand weapon. So you know, you have your main weapon and you have your off weapon rather than a shield or, you know, just to parry. And so what this does is it complements the, you know, lacking properties of each weapon. So Korean people uses this ultra great axe. So they put a main hand straight sword and offhand dragon axe, dragon slayer great axe, or your machete. So they do is they bait the R1. They can do running R1 and, you know, pressure the attack with the running R1, and also kind of bait the attack with the R1s. And when the other person comes in with the attack, they do the your machete R1 L2, I guess L2, or so when it comes to the trade, you'll hyper through their attack and do a double hit with a combo. I mean two hit with a combo, so it will do it. The weapon itself does a ton of damage. So with the bait, it is really effective to bait in the people to get hit by the next your machete attack, and it will do like 800 damage just by that. So, and you can complement each other's, you know, downsides of the weapon. It's just a matter of combinations. You need to find the combination. I've seen some Japanese use the offhand halberd, and there's other choices that offhand stock. There's more possibility we need to explore. Time will pass and we'll see it. The third choice is I think this one could be the new Karthus curve sword. It's the poke halberds. You know, the halberd has two types of halberds: that overhead attack halberd and the poke halberd. Mainly, you know, known as the red hilted halberd. I think before the shield was nerfed, people try to use halberd but didn't use halberd because what happened was people were just block with the shield and get really close, then run up to backstab the person. But since the shield block stun is longer, it is really hard to, I mean, it's still possible, but it's really hard to backstab someone with the halberd R1 spamming. And so it became more viable. Another thing is that poke halberd has an incredible tracking. Like, if you just try to sidestep, it will track you till all the way, and the damage is pretty good. I mean, damage itself is pretty good. You can one-hand it, two-hand it. It's all viable. It's pretty good. The attack speed is really fast. That, like overhead attack halberds, you can attack in between attacks, but with a poke halberd, it's almost impossible to attack in between attacks. Especially, even though you roll to the sideways, it will track it to hit you, and the hitbox, it's like a huge giant box in front of you, so there's like no way to avoid the attack unless you just block it or roll it. It has a very good range. It also can do counter damages, and it also had sweet spot counter, and sweet spot attack, and the sweet spot counter. If you get hit by the sweet spot counter, it's gonna do a ton of damage. The poise damage on the halberd is incredible. It can break almost everything except for the ultra great weapon type armors, and it even shuts down the onikiri&ubadachi. It has like a pretty high poise damage priority. It's kind of weird, but it's really strong in that way. And one more thing was that I forgot. Well, I can't remember right for now. It's really hard to think the downside. One downside is that running attack is not very efficient. But the other than that, there's just like really no downside to the weapon. It's really even hard to roll BS the weapon because the attack is so fast and it attacks so fast and it tracks really good. But so if you're really good at roll BS, you can roll BS any weapon actually. So it's not a good argument that you can roll BS any weapon. But other than that, that's good. And okay, let's stop rumble. Yeah, not, as I said again, like unlike overhead attack halberds, you can use it with one hand, but also you can use shield with it, or other weapons. It's pretty viable in a lot of ways. The other one is it's kind of just these two weapons are kind of just some consideration. I need to look more into it. So one is dagger with the quickstep, or maybe just a quickstep weapon with a quickstep. So the quickstep with the one good thing about main good thing is this: no matter how fast is the weapon opponent is using, you can go quick step in and hit and quick step out. If you can practice that properly, you cannot get hit by any weapon. If you can attack pretty much every weapon in between. And I have seen few people can do it, and even fastest Karthus can't really hit if somebody just quick steps around. And let's say fastest Karthus, you can do like 8 swing with 40 endurance, but the quick step, you can do like 20 quick steps, I think. So you can just dodge 8 swings, then when their stamina's out, you can just attack them. It's a matter of practice. You just need to practice. But the downside is the damage is kind of lacking. So, but if you use the bandit knife with the bleed, if you just put 5 hits in, you'll bleed somebody. In the thrall axe, it has a pretty decent damage. So I think it has potential. I don't see a lot of people use it, but when somebody really good use it, it's really annoying to fight. I really can't see the downside so far, other than the damage is kind of lacking. And the spear, they are good, but I mean, recently I was using spears and they were pretty good, but I was using Kestis or Cestus, and I was just spamming parries, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly. But so far, Spirit was always good in the game, so I know Spear is really easy to parry. They gave a lot of setup parry properties, and since it's kind of slow, so it's kind of easy to parry in other ways. That's something that Tryhards should be investing more is backstabs. In Dark Souls 1, I practiced backstabs, so I could do pretty much all the backstab moves, like not the late tryhard backstabs, just the early, basic backstabs and counter backstabs and roll BS and all the. I mean, at the end of the really late in the game, they had really advanced backstab techniques. I didn't learn that, but other than that, I knew how to do most of the backstabs. And the reason I learned those backstab and try to make it. I was become really good at it because it was just the way to learn how to avoid it. So if you know how to do it, you see other people do it, you can avoid it. Bao and Check seems to show like they're really good at the backstab in Dark Souls 3. They're kind of showing the potential of the Dark Souls 3 backstabs. Dark Souls 3 backstabs are really easy to dodge, but also if you just neglect it, you'll get punished. So, but like I get backstabbed a lot because I realized that I don't know that was possible. So I need to learn more all about the backstabs that exist. Then I could, since Dark Souls 3 lets you avoid the backstab so much easier, I think it will be really helpful. And if I know all of it, if somebody constantly, you know, makes some mistake that I can use to punish them, I think it's really good to know how to do it. But so far what I've seen, especially from Bao and Check, they rely on shield a bit. That's something I don't like, but still, I think I should know how to do it. For this is the end of the series of the School of Tryhards. Well, thank you for listening, and see you guys later. Bye.